Thank you for joining us on our special series honoring our veterans. My name is Jay Morales. My distinguished guest is Bill Hackenberg, a resident and native of Omaha, Nebraska. Age 40, United States Air Force, served from 2002 to 2005. Attained the rank of Senior Airman E4, similar to myself, and worked in satellite, wideband, and telemetry, and we'll go into wars and deployments later. Let's talk about this first. Your decision to join the military was made when and how?
September 11th, 2011.
Just like your brother.
I went, I think, the following week. Never even considered the military before, and signed up. Went to MEPS, did my test, and I got into a delayed enlistment program. I got stuck in DEP for 8 months waiting for a job slot to open. Once that opened, I went down to Texas and did basic training.
Nothing like good old Lackland.
Yeah, May 2002 is when I left for basic training. So
it was hot.
Yeah, it was hot in Texas in the summer.
And it was humid. I know when the bay doors opened and then you went down to the drill pad, that humid air at 4 o'clock in the morning would just go, pow!
Yeah, it'd slap you in the face.
It sure would. It sure would. So you landed at basic training. You started getting yelled at, right, from the jump, right?
Yes. What
was that first experience like?
It wasn't too far away from my upbringing. So
yes, I heard Dad was pretty strict.
Yeah, Dad was strict. So the basic training was kind of laughable.
That's
I mean, it was the Air Force.
Yes.
So, and back then it was 6 weeks.
Yes.
It was 6 weeks. I fired a weapon 3 rounds, and then there was lightning within 5 nautical miles, and that was it. We didn't touch weapons again through all basic training.
That's crazy.
Right?
Well, because so I went in 88, but again, it's not about me. There's an era difference in 2002, though. So at any time in basic training, again, laughable, yes, because upbringing, you're already prepared for this mentally, but did you ever think in basic, like, man, what did I do?
Yeah, there was the times where I wondered. I was like, oh, you really did it. So, you're laying there in open bay barracks, sleeping with 60 strangers you've never met. And, the first couple nights, the fire watch is people that aren't,
yes,
recruits, and they're coming
yes.
through. And
yes,
let's see your ink. Let's see your tattoos. What do we have here? After lights out games. But, no, it was good.
They still have flashlights with the yellow.
Yep.
The yellow tip, and then your chair had to be set up with your cap on there and everything. I don't know.
We didn't even have chairs.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about this. So, did you go through the confidence course as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
The magic water?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you fall in by chance? No. Okay. Good for you. I did.
No.
So, in the military, did you leave any loved ones behind? Did you have a girlfriend or anything like that when you joined?
When I joined, I was engaged.
Okay.
To a lady that had a kid already.
Okay.
And then just before I left, I found out I was expecting a child with someone else.
Okay.
So yeah, that was a funny story.
Wait, you were expecting a child with someone else?
Correct.
Okay.
So
okay, another series on that. Yeah, we'll do the follow-up series. So, but going through, why did you? There's a reason you joined, right? And I get 9/11, but did you really know why yet when you first joined?
I just knew the path I was on. I had, left high school thinking I am never going to college. Yeah. School wasn't my thing, so I worked as a mechanic. Working as a mechanic in the winter in Nebraska.
No bueno.
Yeah, you start to decide you want to do something better. So I actually started going to a local vocational school and got an associate's in computer science while I was working. I signed up for the military, I think 3 months before I graduated.
Was that VATROT by chance?
Yes.
Oh, man, that's crazy. Why did I know? You almost didn't even want to say the name. Yep. Okay, so you went to VATROT, so you got your computer course. What did you do before that? You were a mechanic.
Yep.
So, but before that, you were in high school.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you get this satellite wideband telemetry, which is totally different from what, you were working in. Thank goodness for some of the technical skills. Did you enjoy that?
Oh, I love it. I love it to this day. I've built a career out of it. It's everything that I did, the decisions I made back then have paid off tenfold for me today. So,
Even through all the grueling crap you went through.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But you didn't know then, right? You're just
no.
Next square, just right. Next square, fill the next square, fill the next square.
Yeah.
So take me to your deployments.
Okay, so after basic training, I had almost a year of technical training.
Yep. Where'd you go to tech school at?
First tech school was great, that the morning came the day after graduation. They're like, you get on this bus, you get on this bus, and everybody got on buses but me and maybe one or two other people.
Yeah.
And they said, you're staying here. You get to clean up the barracks now and get it ready for the next group because you're going to school right across the street, which it was one of the last classes, I think, that did electronic principles at Lackland before they moved everything up to Missouri.
Sure.
So did that. Then I got stationed in Georgia at the SATCOM school there, the Joint Forces Communication School down at Fort Gordon.
Yes.
Did my time there. My son was born on a Thursday, and I think it was a Monday morning I got my unaccompanied orders to Germany.
Oh, where in Germany?
Ramstein.
I was Spangdahlem, but that was way back. Keep going.
So
we have a lot in common.
So I was stationed in Germany, got to see a lot of Europe. It was really nice. I worked a step site there, strategic tactical entry point. So, all the tactical communication setups throughout the world shoot back to us, and we're their main hub to the communications. Did that for just over a year, and my supervisor came up to me and she said, hey, what's going on in Iraq? The Army is shorthanded and they're looking for help. They're looking for volunteers to come and help them get boots on the ground. 2004, things started going a little bit sideways for us then. Yeah. So I volunteered.
Yeah.
So I was a Army augmentee.
Yes,
in the Air Force.
Augmentee. I love the word augmentee, just like security police augmentees.
So our group, we went back to Georgia and trained with the Army for a while, and then another group came in, and we got to help train them as like opposition forces for field ops and all that stuff. We actually got weapons training, tons of convoy training, convoy security, recovery, everything you need to know to be in the convoys out there.
Yes.
Did that and deployed with them in, I want to say it was the end of July, early August of 2004. Did that deployment with them, ended up in Kuwait at a redeployment site, Camp Victory, Kuwait, and Camp Virginia, Kuwait. Sorry, I worked at both at different times.
Yes.
So did my deployment. I got back to Germany, I'd say it was between Christmas and New Year's in 2004.
Sure.
And then celebrated New Year's in Germany. Out processed for force shaping. I voluntarily force shaped. I filled out an application and said, okay, the deployment life is what I wanted to live.
Yes.
Out down there, I learned a lot. I did a lot, and everything felt meaningful.
Yes.
So I actually had a job offer, didn't even apply, but had a job offer with a company that I was embedded with us when we were working.
Was it Raytheon or whoever?
No, it was a bad company.
Okay, we won't even say. All right, we're good.
No, that's good. I don't even think they're named the same thing anymore. It was ITT Systems.
Okay.
So I worked for them on the TAC-SWA project and the TAC-SWA project. I did 2005. I was back deployed on terminal leave. I was already back in the desert.
Man.
I worked for them at Camp Victory, Kuwait, which is remote. You lived in a canvas tent 11 months out of the year.
Jeez.
Way out there in the desert.
Yeah, for sure.
You go to get a tank of gas, and it's a half tank at a time because it takes half tank to go get gas. Yeah. Did that for a while. I didn't like the way things were managed in Kuwait, so I told the company, I said, I want to transfer. So they said, well, you want to go to Iraq? And I said, yeah. Let's go to Iraq.
No hesitation.
No, I wanted it. So
yeah,
I ended up running a technical control facility for the Multinational Division Southeast Headquarters in Basra, Iraq with the Brits.
Cool.
I was part of a small liaison support team working there. I worked there from early spring 2006 till August 2008. That place was rocket and mortar city. It was the most IDF attacked base in the AOR.
Yes.
In that time frame. I mean, we got blown up constantly.
So
I got blown up. It was
talk to me about that.
I was just I was asleep in my trailer one day, and I mean, when you
was it a SATCOM trailer?
No.
Trailer?
This was my CHU, my housing
okay.
that I lived in.
Yep.
Since there were no real U.S. forces there, we had a liaison officer and then contract support.
Yes.
And then we did have a small team of people that came in from I believe it was the Puerto Rican National Guard.
Sure.
A comms unit that came in and out. And, the soldiers would rotate in and out, but we were there permanent with the liaison officer. So we lived on a small compound ran by Skylink Arabia. So they were a big fueling contractor out there that filled all the airplanes for the airport itself, because our airport was also Basra International Airport. So they did all the fueling. We lived on this small compound, and we didn't have T-walls. We begged for T-walls. We eventually got them, but it didn't make a difference. One day I was asleep, and when you get subjected to indirect fire constantly, I mean, mortars and rockets constantly going off, the alarms going off. You can't walk to work without, something blowing up.
Right. As defense contractors, did you guys have MOP gear at all?
Yes. We had full TA-50 battle rattle.
Okay.
Most of my jobs were unarmed. My last position was
armed.
Yeah, but we were lucky. We had an armory, so we didn't have to carry unless we were on mission. So
sure.
But it was interesting. It really wakes you up to see how violent war really is. The worst stuff I saw was as a contractor, not when I was in the actual service. I mean,
right.
But that place give you nightmares. Just with the incoming fire. I mean, I had a guy. We were walking. So that little compound was maybe 2 blocks away from the headquarters building,
yeah.
Right? And we would just go walk outside of our compound and walk across this field, skip across this field to get to the headquarters. And you couldn't go outside without gear or anything.
Right.
And it rains down there in Basra quite a bit, surprising for the desert. But
yes.
when it does, it turns everything to, just super deep mud. And
yes.
Me and a coworker are walking across this field, and you hear this,
yeah.
Mortar fell probably 5 feet from him. Just, he maybe 30 feet in front of me, and that mortar fell 5 feet from me, and then that mud didn't go off.
That's luck.
Yeah, he quit. He quit.
He said, I'm out.
Yeah, he said that was the defining moment for him. And
what did it do for you?
I didn't think too much about it, and then I got blown up. So I made it out without any real injuries, but my rocket or a rocket came in, shifted my trailer, the concussion of it, sucked the drawers out of the trailer, out of my dresser. It had acoustic ceiling tiles like this that
yes.
above that was exposed to open air. So all that desert dust, and I heard the explosions. I heard the alarm, and I didn't budge,
because
you're
numb.
Used to
you're
it.
numb
You're
to
like,
it. Yeah.
Sometimes, if you hear the C-ram close to you firing, then you just pull your Kevlar over you a little bit like a blanket, because
that's what you did.
Well, you get so used to it. So, and then I got rocked, and I was dead asleep, and I didn't know, what the hell's going on. Everything, there's smoke, and I can't see all the dust from the ceilings falling out. There's broken glass everywhere. And I hear Hackenberg's hit. I hear my coworkers screaming, but we're still getting hit, and the alarms are going off. And and I start. I don't know what I did. I picked up my flip flops. Right, they're on the floor. I picked up my flip flops and had them in my hand.
Yes.
And I picked up my gear and I had them in my hand.
Okay.
And the only injury I got from this was cutting my feet on the glass that was on, because I guess I was rattled. I didn't know. And
right, you were in shock.
You go back after, and I got photos somewhere. You can see the dust angel where I was sleeping on the bed, and I had a hard time getting out the front door because the trailer got hit and then shifted the entire frame. Door wouldn't open. It was It's one of those things that you don't like to think about anymore.
How old were you?
So that happened in 2006 or 2007. So I was 20, 25, 26.
Super young.
Yeah.
So if you can, I want to stay there for a bit. Like you said, you hadn't seen action. You've seen more action in post-service, as wanting to continue to serve your country. You're a civilian contractor now. You're overseas. You're raising your hand first. You're like, yeah, I'll go to Iraq, wherever. When that happened, did it make you second guess, like, what am I doing? Or
yeah. When you get in that convoy as you've already been trained in convoy ops, and a lot of people had a lot of negative things to say about civilian contractors overseas. But I'll tell you that 95% of the people I worked with were all veterans. They all had the required clearances. They always had the training, and most of them had already been there before.
Right.
So
it's hard to hide.
Yeah.
You still, did you have your clearance? Obviously still.
Yeah, I still do.
You still do. What do you do today?
I work for the Naval Information Warfare Center out of San Diego.
Okay, so you're able to work from home per se,
I work down here at Strat.
Oh, Strat. Oh, okay. I wonder what cell J. Is it a J6, J5?
Right now it's under J6.
J6. So. Okay. Just wondering.
Yeah, I split my time between a few customers there. Stratcom being the major one that brought me home.
Sure. You think this will be your path for the rest of your life?
Oh yeah.
You want it to be. Yeah. I can see your intensity.
Oh, I've never had a job better. So,
I get it.
That's best for my family as a
Understood.
whole, not for my ego and
yes,
me wanting to feel important, but for my family, it's the best. I've raised 5 kids, so
that's incredible.
Yeah, I love it.
I can see you swell with pride now. You know what I mean, which is good. And you're proud of what you're doing. You see where you're going. You're 40 years old, Bill. I'm 51. There's 11 years between us, but I can tell you from 40 to 51, if I can go back, and I'm looking at 40-year-old Jay,
Mm-hmm.
Life just gets great at 40, brother. What are some of the things you've discovered today that you learned from the military that help you today?
The number one thing that they teach you in basic training. In the Air Force, that's the one thing they pound home, and you don't realize it as they're doing it, but they repeat it to you, just plain English. Attention to detail.
Oh, man.
Attention to detail.
Brother, I say this, and people are like, what? Yeah, attention to detail. You want things done well. I can't say I'm perfect. I'm saying the term attention to detail makes me go, oh, shoot, 342nd BMTS. That's basic. That was our squadron,
mm-hmm.
or our flight, I should say, and attention to detail. I heard those words the first few nights.
Yeah.
I heard that when they threw the Tide. So someone had a big box of Tide, and we're still in our civvies.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, who didn't flush a toilet? One of us didn't flush a toilet. I don't know what happened. Threw this big Tide box against the barracks wall. And he said, you guys better clean it. We said, sure. Okay. No, we didn't say sure. He said, but you better only use a toothbrush and flashlights. You know what we did all night long? And guys were like, we better not get caught cheating, scooping this up. Could you imagine wet with toothbrushes? And there's like 40 guys. And we were ingenuitive, though. We're like lining up the toothbrushes so we can sweep it, and one guy's trying to dry. It was so stupid. Anyway, attention to detail. Let's talk about that. How's that served you?
It's made me capable of doing the things I've done. I ended up working air crew on an intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance platform for the last 4 years that I was deployed. I ended up being the manager of a program out there, and it, when you're working with aircraft and you're doing actual combat support, sometimes they would have to act as airborne JTACs.
Yes.
If you're doing a routine mission and you get called off and they've got to go do a tick, attention to detail is extremely, extremely important. Anytime you do any sort of work on an aircraft, that attention to detail, you think about tool accountability.
Yeah. Oh, hey, where's that wrench?
A mission canceled and 20 people get called into work. Yeah, nobody's working until you find that one missing screwdriver.
They're walking the flight line.
Yeah.
Or they're doing a shakedown. I remember at Offutt at Boeing, tool chests got turned in. 3 of them got turned in same time. And, you know, sometimes paperwork gets loose. Well, it says it's one of you 3 crews, and one of you, you know, whoever signed for this one, and they shut down the flight line for an entire weekend. It was found in someone's personal bag. Sloppy. You know, you ground a whole aircraft and a whole mission because of that.
Yep.
So when people tell you, civilians, Bill, I had a long week, man. Boy, it's corporate balances, you know, like,
yeah.
What does that make you feel like? I mean, not that we're better than them. We're just different, right? I mean,
no, I mean that it has different meanings to different people, and it's all based on what your perspective, your life experiences are. I mean, I know what it's like to work 84 hours a week, 11 months a year. You know, I was lucky in my last one. I worked, you know, I was gone 90 days, no days off, come home for 30 days.
Jeez.
So that was the last job I had over there, and that was the most rewarding job
Really?
for me.
Yeah.
Personally, because every day, you know, you were doing something
Impactful.
that made a difference. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you can look up the news stories and look up Task Force Ode in Afghanistan and read the stats on what we were able to perform. It was extremely high tempo, and we were one of the most requested assets. So
that's pretty cool, man. You know, you've seen some things in your life that you can't speak of, and it's one of those things that you're always going to keep in your vest till you're age 77, till you declass, right?
Yeah.
Age 77, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So, but when you think about the military today, because you still interact with them, right? You still interact with these youngins, 20-year-olds, 23-year-olds, just coming up, right? Some of them are doing really well. What's your thoughts on the military today?
I love the fact that our military is 100% volunteer. There's nobody conscripted here. There's nobody forced to fight. The vast majority of these people that sign on the dotted line want to better their lives. They want to make sure their homeland's safe, and they want to contribute to society. Our leadership sometimes, you know, you can think otherwise. I will just say that in the last 2 years, I've had to retake an oath of enlistment as a government employee.
Yes.
Which was kind of a smack in the face to me. You know, don't come to me after I've done so much for you and tell me that my first oath wasn't good enough.
Right.
And I think there was a lot of people that felt that with some mandatory stand downs that may have happened in the last few years.
You know, Bill, I never heard of that. So while I've thought of that, I get it. But you articulate that so well, and I don't think there's people that know that, right? I mean, this is your perspective, and I love watching from the outside. You did take an oath.
Yeah.
And you said, here's a check, it is blank, right? And at the end, the amount was in blood, right?
Yeah.
For any and up to. And what would you say now about patriotism? What when I say patriotic or what comes to your mind?
Well, we've got a prime example of patriotism going on in the world right now that all eyes are on, and that's, you know, Ukraine. Take a look what the citizens of that country are doing. They said, you're not going to push us here. This is our home.
Incredible.
This is our country. For all its faults, we love this country. This is our home, and we're going to do what's best for our country. You'll not push us out of it. That's patriotism. You see all the former residents, all these people that don't need to fight for a living, making headway there.
Yeah.
Because what's going on is wrong.
Yeah.
And they believe in their country.
And their leader, who was once in a boxing ring, is now wearing Kevlar and saying, I do not want asylum.
Was he a boxer?
Yeah, he was a
Klitschko brothers were both the boxers. I think he was an actor. I believe Zelensky was an actor.
Okay, could be. So,
yeah,
but my point being
the
is,
Klitschko brothers are millionaires, world champion boxers, both.
Yeah,
of them,
okay, you're right. Yes,
yeah.
But think about that, right? Think of that leadership, and think of how the people are like, we'll fight with him.
I just hope that our future generations, that they don't have to go through what the Ukrainians are going through, because, you know, I love our military, but outside of that, I'm not seeing that hunger in this, you know.
Yeah.
In these up and coming generations. You know, polls are saying these people wouldn't serve if they had to.
Right.
So I think the people that do deserve that respect. You know,
the word conscientious objector was thrown around, you know, like if you even uttered those words of conscientious objector, and I'm just, this is my perception, people are like, don't talk to that guy, don't talk to that girl, right?
mm-hmm.
But now there's a lot of people, and again, I'm not chastising them, I'm just showing you the polarizing times that.
Well, that's part of patriotism right there. That's, you know what, I don't agree with what you have to say, but you are being a patriot by saying it. If you feel that something needs to be changed for the greater good of this group, you have every right to say it.
Yeah.
And I don't have to agree with it. I'll fight for your right to be able to say it.
That's awesome.
You know? And it's a two-way street.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
Everybody should have an opinion. Everybody's opinion should be respected the same based on their life experiences. You know, if somebody thinks that something's wrong, it's their duty. It's their patriotic duty to bring it to attention.
Your brother was talking about the term brothers and sisters,
mm-hmm.
right, in the military. And he was talking about patriotism, and I think I struck a good chord with him. And I want to ask you, I want to see where the biological genes play here. You know, you see things, burning the flags, anti-patriotic sentiment, right? For whatever reason. I'm not getting a political gain here. What I'm trying to say is, what does that do for your soul?
It hurts. It hurts a lot. The people that are doing that doesn't mean what it means to, you know, you or me or my brother. You know, I don't know who said it, but, you know, they said that the taste of freedom tastes better for those that sacrificed for it, or something along those lines. And that's just, you know, it enrages me to see people disrespect our country, because I know plenty of people that draped under that flag. You don't burn that as disrespect. I was there when Extortion 17 got put onto the C-130, I'm sorry, the C-17 to go back home, the repatriation ceremony. When you see that number of people put under that flag, you don't disrespect it.
Yeah.
You have the right to feel any way you do, but I also have the right to tell you how I feel about it as well.
Damn right.
So, you know,
that's great perspective, man. Sometimes you got to hold yourself back, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to ask you your final question. You have 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
What are their ages? How just a range?
Just a range. My oldest is 22. My youngest will be 18 this year. So my youngest is a senior in high school, and my oldest is a senior doing pre-med here.
Okay. So let's fast forward a few years, hopefully a way few years, when you have your first grandchild. Do you have one yet?
No, I
okay.
can't. I can't wait.
Okay. Yeah. So generations to come. Hey, did you know about your Uncle Bill? Hey, did you know about your Grandpa Bill? What do you hope they know most about you? This is your time. I'm not asking, don't feel like you're bragging or anything. This is your time to open up and just be truthful with me and be truthful with the person listening right now. What do you want them to know about Uncle Bill and his service to this United States of America?
I don't think there's anything special about my service. If anything, my service has benefited me more than I benefited this service. So, you know, I just want them to know that that's the right thing to do. If your country calls, you know, I felt like it called me after 9/11. I've poured in, just, you know, it's the right thing to do, to stand up for what you believe in and what's right.
You know, Bill, I have had the privilege of probably 10 different perspectives today, you know, and we all go through our own challenges and our own stresses, but I think this is a great example of what happens when your passion aligns with your behavior, aligns with your service, and you actually get to do what you love to do. I'm sure it's not perfect, but you're still making an impact. You're focused on where you're going, and you know why you're doing it, right? There are days that,
yeah,
there are days like you're
oh yeah,
pulling some hair out, right?
Yeah.
Maybe your beard.
Yeah.
But would you do it all over again?
Absolutely.
They called you up and said, "We need you."
Absolutely.
There's no hesitation there, huh?
No, like I said, it has benefited me. I came home and knocked out 2 more degrees after 10 years downrange. And I got paid to do it because I was willing to, give 3 years of my life to the country.
Well, you continued more than just 3. You know what I mean? I get it. But I just need people to know every service member is different. And, while your story is different, there's a lot of similarities there. You continue to serve, and you're here at the VFW. That's one more thing. One last thing, and we'll wrap it up. Hey, man, why should I join the VFW? What? I did, by the way. So I'm not asking that.
So, my brother, he told you how we kind of got started.
And
right?
I love it. I love it.
I was sitting there drinking, and I was like, you know what? I want to do something different this year. And I called my brother on the phone. I was like, so I just kind of had this idea this year. We had COVID was really sucking, and we get the panhandlers on the street here all the time.
Yes.
So
we talked about that.
And I said, this Veterans Day, let's see if we can do a food and clothing drive for Sienna Francis House. That's how it started.
Yeah.
And I just messaged this post, post 2503. I messaged them on Facebook, and I said, hey, I was a member once, and I never came through the doors. I'd signed up online, got my membership for a year, never renewed. I never came through the doors, not once.
Wow.
I got a message back, and I said, hey, listen, we're looking to do a food and clothing drive, and was just wondering, Veterans Day, if we could use your parking lot as a collection point.
Gosh.
And we came in and sat down and talked about it, and they said it was all good. And, we started coming in, and, Larry plied us, become members. So we both, I bought my brother and myself both our first year's membership.
Yeah, great.
And started coming down, hanging out, and talking to these people. And there's one thing you really miss from the military. And if you spend any amount of time downrange, you become so close with the people that you interact with every day.
Yes.
Like, I'm a horrible coworker now because I overshare everything,
That's cool, though.
But I'm coming from an environment where, I don't have to like this guy, but I'll tell you what, I know his kid's birthday's today.
Yeah.
And you know what? He's missing his kid, so I'm going to give him light duty, or we're going to do something
That's
nice.
Awesome, man.
You care about these people, right?
Yeah.
And you treat everyone like family. You overshare. Everyone knows everything. And you don't get that in society.
They call this thing teamwork on the outside, right, in the corporate sector.
Yeah.
And
so there's a good couple TED Talks by an author, Sebastian Jung.
Sebastian Jung,
right?
Duly noted.
So he, have you seen the documentary Restrepo?
No.
Okay, so that's him. That's him. Him and his photographer were there, and he wrote a book about it as well. There's a documentary. I believe it's a Nat Geo documentary, and then there's a book about it. But he talks about how our society makes people feel lonely when they return from war. You're used to the structure. You're used to knowing that this person next to me, on this side of me, and this side of me, they don't have to like me, but they die for me.
Yeah,
and I do the same for them.
Yep, I do the same for them.
Right? And you come home, and it's not like that. You're brought that way. You're formed that way. That's the way you function. And then you come back to society, and it's not like that. It's like that here.
I've never been able to articulate the transition, from service to civilian. I think you just captured it for me.
Yeah. And
I'm going to credit you for hours of YouTube viewing for me tonight.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man.
I think it's Sebastian Younger.
Okay. I'll find it.
With a J. I don't know.
I will find it.
But he does 2 different TED Talks, and he talks about his own issues with PTSD and how society makes veterans feel. And this place has made me feel like there's people that understand, when the Afghanistan debacle happened this year.
They already know.
These guys are calling me. Hey, we know you lived there for, I lived there from 2008 to 2014 in Afghanistan.
Jeez.
So, they're like, hey, we know this is bugging. How are you? Just calling me to check on me.
Check in your 6.
And they understand. The Vietnam vets understand more than, they had it so hard.
Brother,
and it's due to them that, modern day vets are treated right, because society learn from its mistakes. We hope.
Yeah.
For the most part, though, I mean, it's a night and day difference the way they were treated and the way they felt. You know,
I think you just really wrapped that up into a shell because
and this is a place where those people they come. I mean, these guys miss it too. That feeling they recreated within these walls.
That's cool, man.
And we do great for the community.
Yeah, for sure.
So, you know, it's like I say, the service doesn't stop when you take the uniform off.
No.
And this is a great outlet for that. You know, I kind of stumbled around for a couple of years after I got home, just trying to figure, you know, I want to do something. So I, you know, wrap myself up in school, wrap myself up in work.
Yeah.
And then when that runs out, it's okay. I want to do something. And this is a great place to outlet that energy into a positive way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the VFW is awesome. And I'd love to see more of my generation of veterans starting to come in.
Absolutely.
Don't think of it as an old man's drinking club. It's a support system, and it's full of friends and people that will care about you.
Well said. Well said, my friend. Bill, everyone's a different perspective, brother, and I'm leaving here probably with a master's degree after today, after listening to everybody. You know, I think my dissertation is due, but I'm taking something away from everybody, and what I'm taking away from you is your continued service, your love of this country, your example for other veterans, how to thrive, how to navigate through the system, how to support your brothers and sisters, and reconnect. You know, that's important. So I say this because I know I truly thank you for your service to this country. The United States is definitely better because of people like you.